Welcome. Today we're going to cover protagonists. Our learning goals for the day include to define what a protagonist is, to identify the protagonist's purpose in a story, and to locate ways to connect to the protagonist while reading. So what is the protagonist? This is your main character in the story. This is your leader, your proponent, your supporter. It is typically the opposite of the antagonist. The protagonist is considered to be the hero or the heroine. It's the good guy. It's the person who is moving forward, the person who is making a difference. The protagonist does not always start off as a strong character. In fact, sometimes the protagonist can start off pretty weak. The protagonist's purpose is to give the reader someone to empathize with. The protagonist will push the story forward. This person will grow, develop, and improve over time. The protagonist is oftentimes the hero or the heroine of a story, even if it's in a symbolic manner and not necessarily in a literal manner. At the beginning of a story, oftentimes the protagonist can be immature and will mature over time, or may start off as selfish and will become selfless over time. So you'll typically see quite a bit of change with your protagonist. So how can you find the protagonist in a story? What you want to do is you want to look for the character who is central to the story, is fighting against the antagonist, standing up for a cause, moving that story forward, and is typically imperfect at the beginning. You're not usually going to find a character who is Superman from the very beginning of the story. Typically, the protagonist has to go through some trials and tribulations to become the person that he or she is meant to be by the end of the story. One of the greatest things about a protagonist is that we as individual people, we as readers can connect really easily with this character. If you look for elements of yourself within the protagonist, you're going to have a very easy time really loving that book, regardless of whether it's a short story, a novel, or a memoir. Typically, if you can connect with the protagonist, you're going to enjoy the story. Try to feel what the protagonist is feeling. Try to understand what the protagonist is going through. This person is going to go through a lot of trials and tribulations throughout the story, and the better that you can understand that and connect with that and relate to that, the more that you're typically going to like the story. Some famous protagonists are listed out here. You see that there's a wide variety of different protagonists, everything from Sherlock Holmes to Luke Skywalker, Harry Potter. All of these individuals here are from a wide variety of different kinds of media. Some are from short stories, some are from novels, some from memoirs, some from movies, some from comic books. But all of them, what they have in common is that they're all protagonists. They all change over time, they all improve over time. They're all the people that we as readers and as viewers want to connect to within the story. At this point, what you should know and to be able to do is to know what the protagonist is, understand what the protagonist's purpose is, and be able to identify and connect with the protagonist. The better you can do this, the more you will typically like your reading. I hope this is useful to your reading. Good luck to you.